It's important to have a business plan, and it's important to break it up yearly, monthly, looking at your 1 year goals, your 5 year goals, your 10 year goals. Okay. And if you have a coach or you hold yourself accountable, it's something you need to revisit weekly. Okay. Because you need to know if you're on track for the year. And if you're not on track for the year, you need to adjust the amount of activity that you're producing in order to hit those goals. So it's the best way to hold yourself accountable. And you're doing at the beginning of the year so that you don't forget what your goals are. If you don't make a business plan, you don't write it down, you don't really, it's what you write down becomes real. What you just think of, it gets forgotten in the dust. So you want to make sure that things are written down, and you want to make sure that you're looking at it constantly, week after week after week. Have I hit my 2 deals this year? Or sorry, this month? Okay, no. Well, I got to do an extra one this month. It's going to create urgency in your life, and it's going to create the amount of activity that it's going to take for you to hit your numbers. Because if you're not hitting your numbers, it means you're not creating enough activity to hit those numbers. Real estate isn't rocket science, it's a numbers game. You need to have conversations with enough people in order to get enough appointments or FaceTime or Zoom calls or phone calls in order to create enough contracts that will turn into actual closings. So, people like to overcomplicate the way real estate really works. Real estate is a sales business, and people seem to have gotten away from that. People think now that, they don't need to talk to people. They can just make a post on social media and all of a sudden they're going to get a million deals. Unfortunately, it's not the way that works. Yes, people do a lot of deals from social media, but they're still using it to create a lead. And then the lead turns into a prospect, and then the lead turns into a conversation. Then the conversation turns into an appointment or a showing or a listing appointment or a buyer appointment. And then that turns into a contract, which turns into a closing. So we need to work backwards. Okay. But before I get into that, I'm going to share my screen here and I'm going to go over what the business plan looks like. Okay. So hopefully you can all see my screen here. So this is the business plan right here. Okay, 2026 business plan. It's got a nice little logo on it. Without a plan written in place, you are simply rolling your dice for the future. Okay, so here's where it starts. You need to start with your 10-year vision plan. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? And, you got to get really deep in on this. So you got to think about what your purpose is. What are you living for? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why do you want to sell 50 homes a year? Why do you want to sell 100 homes a year? Why do you want to sell 20 homes a year? The why is the most important thing, because that's what's going to keep you motivated. If you're only working for money, eventually you're probably going to burn out. Okay. You need to have what are you going to do with this money? Okay. Do you want to keep working in real estate for the next 15 years doing transactions, or do you want to have a team one day? Do you want to have residual income one day? What do you want to do? What is your life going to look like in 10 years? You can add in there, things like personal goals, family goals, monetary goals. But what I like to do, and then you have the 5-year vision and the 1-year vision. So there's 4 things that you want to include in what I call a vision statement. Okay. Now, in the vision statement, and I'm going to write this down. Number 1 is, what is your chief definite aim? What is your chief definite aim? What do you want to do? Okay, let's say we're using the 1-year example. What is your definite chief aim for that year? Now, let's say, and I'll use an example, it's to do 50 transactions. So I would write my definite chief aim is to do 50 transactions. By when? So timeline. I aim to achieve this goal by January 1st, 2027. So you're giving yourself a timeline. That's very important. Okay. The definite chief aim has to come with a timeline. The when. Okay. The first one is the what. What is your definite chief aim? When do you want to do it by? The third one is why you want to do it. So it can be anything. It could be I'm looking to buy my first home. It could be um, I'm looking to buy a Jaguar. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be even deeper than that. It goes back to your purpose. It's because, for example, last year I did 30 deals, and my mission in life is to be on a constant pursuit of personal growth. Therefore, I want to do better today than I did yesterday. That's always sometimes if you don't know what your why is, a really good why for somebody that doesn't have a why is being on a constant pursuit of personal growth. Okay. Always getting better year after year after year. That in itself will hold enough power and energy to get you moving forward. Now, if it's deeper than that, then perfect. And just to recap, the definite chief aim, what is it? When are you going to do it by? Oh, for some reason, it went on my phone as well. So, what is your definite chief aim? When are you going to do it by? Why do you want to do it? Okay. And the last one is what you're going to do and what you're going to give back. Those are the 5 pillars. I know I said 4, it's actually 5. So, what? What are you willing to give in return? So, I'll give you an example of what mine sounds like. And it's changed. So these are all my mission statements that I've done over the last one here is this year. The first one that I ever did, look at all these pages. The first one I did was in 2014. So I have 12 years of mission statements here. And every year, I, for the most part, achieved every goal I've done. And why? Because your mission statement or vision statement or definite chief aim, whatever you want to call it, needs to be read every night before you go to bed and every morning when you wake up. Okay. That's going to make your subconscious mind aware of what your goal is. Now, when you read it before bed, especially, and in the morning, it gets embedded into your subconscious mind. And you start creating activity without you even realizing why you're creating that activity. And it's because your subconscious mind has been programmed now for you to achieve that goal. You're embedding it into your subconscious mind. So, people talk about the secrets of success. Well, these are some of the secrets of success. Okay. The secrets of success are making it so that whatever you're trying to achieve isn't conscious anymore. It's subconscious. So I'll give you an example. This was my first one that I ever did, my first year of real estate. And I was still actually part-time at this time. I wrote at the time, 12 years ago, I wrote the exact amount of money I desire to make is $150,000 last year. I intend to give back by and I did this in the wrong order, but I intend to give back by sharing the knowledge which I have acquired throughout my sales career To anyone willing and wanting to receive it, I'll share this. I will also share the secrets of the laws of success of the world and mentor anybody ready to accept it in the future, as I have been mentored. I intend to possess now the when. I intend to possess this money by January 29th, 2015. My plan of action is to continue to work hard at my current job, which I was working at, until I have $15,000 in cash and 8 real estate deals done. Once this is completed, I will move into real estate full time and sell enough properties to gross 150,000 in commissions. I'll also read this statement every night before bed and every morning. I will rise with the desire to make the most out of every day, no matter what is happening in my life, because my success means everything. And then I sign it and I date it the day that I wrote it. So that was 12 years ago. The one I have now is much different than that. Okay. It has, and it's funny because even back then, I was thinking about coaching and mentoring people 12 years ago. I didn't know it yet, but I wrote it down and here I am now with you guys. So if you want your 10-year goals to come to fruition, you got to start planning what that is. And that's why in there's the 10-year plan, the 10-year goal. Where do you want to see yourself in 10 years? Okay. Again, definite chief aim, which is the what, the timeline, when, why you want to do it, what's your purpose, why are you doing what you're doing, what are you willing to do? So I am willing to do 10 contacts a day, every single day for the rest of the year. That's the what. That's your one thing. What in life, usually 20% of what you do is going to give you 80% of the results. And I'm telling you right now, in real estate, for me at least, having conversations with people about either buying or selling was that was 5% of what I did, maybe 10, and it gave me 90% of my results. So you need to think about what's the one thing that you know you need to do in order to achieve your goals. Okay. And what are you willing to give in return? You achieve this goal, get all this money. What are you going to do to give back? You know, open it, I don't know, whatever it is. You can give back your knowledge, you can give back some money, you can give back something. You have to be willing to give something back, because what that does is it creates an abundance mentality. If you just take and don't give, then you're living in a scarcity mindset. You think everything's for you, and the universe won't return you the riches. Okay. Now, I wanted to get a little deep on that, and we're going to go into some other things, but I just wanted to stress how important your vision is for the year. It's what's going to drive you for the next year, for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years. You need to be reading it every single day, preferably twice a day. And you do it every single year, every single day. And I promise you, if you only do that from everything else that I've taught you, you will achieve your goals. If you actually write it out and read it every day, I promise you. Okay. So it's the first thing I do when I'm coaching with people is we need to make a purpose statement or a vision statement or a mission statement, whatever you prefer to call it. If that's not in place, then you have no direction. Does anybody have any questions on that? Good. So now we have the 10-year vision out of the way. We have the 5-year vision out of the way. We got the 1-year vision out of the way. This is your why. Accountability. Okay. Now we get into units and goals. The more clients I serve, the greater the opportunity to create a windfall of commissions. So you need to write in this thing. And again, I'm gonna email all this to you guys, so you have it, and you can print it out, and you can fill it out. If you don't fill it out, then it's pointless. So go through your 2025 goals. Okay. How many deals did I do? Okay, let's say I did, just using hypothetical numbers, 10 deals. Where did they come from? Say 2 came from open houses, 5 came from past clients, 1 came from sphere of influence, 1 came from online leads, and 1 came from for sale by owners. Okay. Now, what are your deals going to be? Let's say, no, sorry, 10, then 10 here. Okay. And let's say for the listing side, got 1 here, 5 here, 2 here, 1 here. And 1 here. Let's see your goal now. So right here, we have 50-50. We have 50% buyers. We have 50% listings. For the 2026, let's keep it the same. But now we want to do 50 deals, 25 and 25. In this 2026 goals box, you need to find out what your average home value is from last year. Let's use the example in Ottawa. Let's just use around 600,000. Okay. And let's say your average gross commission from that is 2% between buyers and sellers. So if we go 600,000 times 0.02, that's going to be $12,000 in both. Now you want to figure out what your total sales volume is. It's the amount of units you're going to do on the listing side, which is 25, times your average home value. So 600,000 times 25 is 15 million. On this side, 600,000 times 12 again, or sorry, 25 is 15 million. I don't know if I said thousand, but I meant million. What's the total GCI? Units, 25 times average gross commission. 12,000 times 25. 300,000. So if you sell 50 properties, if you're a single agent at a $600,000 average, you're making a lot of money. You are making $600,000. Now, if you're on a team and you have a split, I don't know, let's say your average split 35%. So 600,000 times 0.65. Sorry, 300,000 times 195 and 195. So you're making just shy of $400,000. Okay. And I use an average commission of 2 and an average commission of 2. So when you write the numbers down, they become real. You realize how much potential money you can actually make. That should give you enough motivation to go out and create the activity to get there. Okay. Now, you go through something called a SWOT analysis. Your SWOT analysis complements your vision. Your vision tells you where you're going. The SWOT analysis helps describe where you are. the clear assessment of where you stand, the more effectively you can plan and build a bridge to the future. So internal and external. So what are some ideas here? Okay. What are some internal strengths you can have? I'll just use a few examples. You can have building relationships or rapport. You can have strong work ethic. Those are internal. You can have great customer service. And you got to be honest with yourself during this. If you don't give the best customer service, put in your weaknesses. It's okay. You need to build it. Networking skills / referrals. Determination. Now, what are some ideas of some weaknesses? Not good with accountability. Okay. Not consistent. Bad organization skills. Typically, what I find people's weaknesses are not skills in real estate. Okay. They're typically internal skills like things like consistency. Anybody can have a good week and get a lot of conversations in, do a lot of open houses, call past clients, call for sale by owners, call anybody, okay, and track it. And that's another one, bad tracking skills. I tell people this all the time. If you look at any professional athlete, okay, I play in the Greek hockey league, and do I know how many like penalty minutes I have, how many shots on goal I have, what my percent? No, I don't, because it's not professional. The difference between a professional real estate agent and an amateur real estate agent is the professional, just like sports, knows their numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you are not a professional. Okay. When I was in real estate, the one thing I was very, very good at was tracking everything. I would track how many calls I had. I would track how many appointments I did, what my conversion was from appointments to contract sign, what my conversion was from when I got a listing to when it sold. So I knew what I had to work on. If I signed 10 listings and only 2 of them sell, well, then what do I need to work on? Well, I need to work on my price adjustment scripts. I need to work on staying in touch with the sellers, building better relationships with the sellers, maybe taking the right listings. So based on what your numbers are, and I'll give you another example. If you're able to do 20 conversations a day and you get 0 appointments, well, then maybe you need to focus on your script role play. Okay. If you have 10 appointments and you only close 1 out of those 10 appointments and they're listing appointments, well, then maybe you need to work on your listing objection handling skills. So based on your weaknesses, you know what you need to work on. And you can only figure out your weaknesses from a quantitative level if you track your numbers. So I know if I look at any agent, I want to find out how many conversations they've done. I want to know how many appointments they've done. I want to know how many listings they took, how many buyers they took, and how many deals they got from it. Because based on those numbers, I can look at it for 5 seconds and I can tell you what your weakness is, and I know what I need to work on with you. So be very, very honest about your weaknesses. And a lot of the times you won't really know your weaknesses unless you track what you're doing. So every day you should be tracking what you're doing if you really, really want to be a professional. Um, Opportunities. For example, on our team, we have different opportunities with builders. Um, Opportunities, AI, leverage AI more. Think about any opportunities you can have, right? Um, More homes being built in my area. What are some opportunities, different events that I can go to? What are some opportunities that you have at your fingertips that you can take advantage of? I want you to really, really think about that. And what are the threats? What are threats potentially to your business? Okay. Think about that nice and hard too. And typically the biggest threat is ourselves. Um, if you're not staying on track, if you're building bad habits, those are threats. And they're not, they're external threats, but I also want you to think about internal threats too. Because if you're being distracted, whether it's on a personal level or a business level, it's going to be much, much harder to achieve your goals. So you need to wash away the things that you know are holding you back. And that needs to be a habit of washing away things that you know don't serve you. So marketing and lead generation. So I want you guys to think of all your lead sources. Let's think of some examples here. Open houses. I want to do 7 deals from open houses. And I usually put in the notes. Like, for example, on this one right here, I'm going to say door knock district for sell by owners around the area and expireds around the area. Let's go for sell by owners. Unit goal. Let's go 5. Notes. 5 contacts a day. Expireds. Let's go 4. 5 contacts. Let's go past clients. 10. Monthly call. Monthly newsletter. Quarterly market update or update call. So call them, let them know about a property that may be sold in their district. Give them a new kind of update on what the price of their home would be. When it comes to past clients, I don't know if you guys have ever read the book Millionaire Real Estate Agent. It talks about the 33 touch system. If you talk to your past client 33 times in a year in any way, whether it's an update, a letter, it's a touch, any kind of touch. If you do that 33 times, 1 out of every 12 of your past clients, you'll transact, whether it's through them or through somebody they know. That is the theory. So if you have 144 people in your database and they're being contacted or touched 33 times in a year, you will get one deal out of every 12. So if there's 144, you'll get 12 deals. But you actually have to be creating the activity. Everybody seems to forget about their past clients. Your past clients are an army of people that should be looking for other clients for you. That's who your past clients are. Think about your past clients as an army fighting for you because that's who they are. But if you don't stay in contact with them, they're going to disappear. You're going to lose the relationship. So you have to stay in touch with them. You have to continue the relationship. That is your book of business. You should be able to sell that book to somebody because let's say you were to hire somebody and take over, you should be able to sell them a book of business with you. But if that book of business isn't being attended to, then it's not a real book of business. You have to contact your book of business. Those are deals waiting for you. And when I call people, it's very, very simple. It's a little bit of small talk. Hey, who do you know that's looking to buy or sell real estate this year? Not do you know anybody? Who do you know? Because it gets them thinking. It's not a yes or no. It's an open-ended question. And then they start thinking, so, anybody from work, your church group, your family. Oh, no, I don't know anybody. Okay, perfect. When you do hear about somebody that's looking to buy real estate, please let me know so I can help them just like I helped you. Simple. But now, in their mind, the next time they hear about somebody, they're at work. Oh, yeah, I'm thinking about selling my house. Oh, boom. Hey, you got it. You got to talk to Steve. Can I give him your number? Yeah, for sure. So that happens to me all the time. Okay. Because I did a good job talking to my past clients as I was moving up in real estate. So, sphere of influence. So, what's your sphere of influence? Now, what kind of people do we deal with um, from a real estate sales level? We deal with people like mortgage brokers, we deal with lawyers, we deal with lenders. Who are you dealing with? Home inspectors. Who are you giving business to that you could get business from? This is about networking. I used to just have coffees with mortgage brokers and I would straight up build a relationship with them and ask them for business. It's not rocket science. Build a relationship. People want to do business with people they like, with people they know that are hard workers. And then you ask for business. You got to ask for business all the time, right? It's about your referrals, your sphere of influence, your past clients. It's about asking for business. If you don't ask, you don't get. Period. The best lesson my dad ever taught me was when I was like 4 years old. We would get ice cream at McDonald's. We'd get sundaes, and he would always ask for extra like fudge sauce or caramel sauce. He would say, "Hey, can you put caramel sauce at the bottom, in the middle, and at the top?" And every time they would ask that, I would be shy. Like, Dad, why are you asking that? And he looked at me and he said, son, if you don't ask, you don't get. And that stuck with me. So I'm constantly asking people for business. I'm currently asking people for referrals. You have to be asking for business all the time. Now, you want to be building relationships, of course, but while you're doing that, you need to be asking people, hey, when you hear of somebody looking to buy or sell, let me know. I want to help them like I helped you, or I want to help them like I helped the last client you gave me. So you have to ask for business. The other lead sources, referrals. When you're going to, real estate events, are you just going there to party and drink, or are you going there to build connections? There's literally agents out there that have a full business built on referrals. They literally do nothing else but get referrals from other agents. They're that good at networking with other agents. And not only are they getting people from their own jurisdiction, they're getting people from different countries, different cities. Um, just they're good at networking with people and they're good at staying in touch with them. So are you going to events? Events aren't like when you go to other real estate events, people are like, oh, I'm going to a real estate event. You know, there's other realtors there. They're going to take my business. Like, it's not how you're thinking. Go to real estate events in different districts. Go to ones in Gatineau. Go to ones in Ottawa. Go to ones in Toronto. Go to ones in Montreal. Go to ones in Florida. Build connections and keep in touch with them. Let them know what you're willing to give them. If hey, I'm willing to give an extra 5% on all my deals to you. Build connections with other agents. They will get you business. There's builders. Are you building connections with builders? You know, a lot of builders, they build 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 homes a year. To you, if you get a good relationship with them, instead of getting one listing, you get 20 at a time. Are you reaching out to them? Are you having somebody reach out to them? Are you willing to take it to the next level? So 15, 17, 27, 30. Just throwing arbitrary numbers out there. So now when you go through and I'm going to give you an example of a lead source. Let's go open houses. So this is the lead generation aspect. Transaction goal was 7 deals from open houses. What is your prospecting plan? Are you just doing an open house and showing up and hoping people come by? Or are you doing it properly? And what do I mean by doing it properly? Well, let's figure out the prospecting plan. So, door, knock, district, follow-up plan. Interested people put on 33 touch system. That can go for the nurturing plan as well. What else can you do to open houses? Well, what I like to do, and I've talked about this in other training sessions, is instead of just door knocking in the district, on Thursday before the Sunday open house, I'll look in that district and I'll find all the properties that have expired in the last 2 years. And I door knock them. Door knock, expireds in district. And the good thing about this is now I have a reason to door knock. Knock on the door. Hey, Steve Alexopoulos here with Metro City Property Group at EXP Northern Alliance. Hey, listen, I'm going to be doing an open house right across the corner. It's a 4-bedroom home, 2-story, detached, finished basement. It's a beautiful home. In fact, it's actually pretty similar to yours. So I just wanted to invite you to this great open house. It's on Sunday, 2 to 4. Do you think you'll be able to make it? Oh, no, I'm a little bit busy on Sunday, but, thanks for letting me know. Hey, while I have you here, I remember that you guys had a sign up, I think, about a year ago, and I saw the sign come down. By any chance, did the house end up selling? Now, in your head, you know that the home didn't sell. However, this is your in, right? And they're going to say, oh, no, it didn't sell. Oh, interesting. Any idea maybe why it didn't sell? Now, typically, they're going to be blaming their agent or blaming the market or blaming somebody. And now is your opportunity to get an appointment. Okay. I'm not going to get into detail on that now because I do other trainings on that, and that's just would take too long. But you have an opportunity through the open house to create, and I'll even write it here. I call it a prospecting event. The problem people with open houses is they think it's just about getting floor time. It's if you think that the open house is just about floor time. Now, you're going to have people that come in there that are looking to buy or sell, sure. But you need to take it a step further if you want them to be very successful. Most people that I talk to are like, open houses never work. It's because they don't do them properly. They just like they put the signs up like the day of, and they just go there and they wait, and people walk in, oh, let me show you the house. So they show the house, okay, bye. Like, and they wonder why they're not getting anybody from the open houses. You got to work the open house. The open house is a prospecting plan. You're not just door knocking expired district, you're also door knocking for sale by owners. Try and set appointment. Put on follow up system. Put on follow up boss. We use follow up boss system. Same thing here. Appointment, follow up boss. Okay. So you got to get into detail of what you're going to be doing for this lead source prospecting. Okay. Remember, you will not be successful at open houses if you don't do it properly. Stop thinking about floor time, start thinking about prospecting time. It's about doing a bit of a mind shift. Past clients. And I mean, transaction goal 10. $33 system. What else can I do with so you want to stay in the past clients' faces, right? So you got to ask yourself, like, if you're putting a lot of content on Instagram and on Facebook, have you added your past clients to your social media? First thing I would do when I would get a client is add them to my Facebook, add them to my Instagram, add to socials. Call one time per month, asking for one market update per month. So like look at the 33 touch system. If you call one time per month, that's already 12 touches. One market update a month, that's 24 touches. You only got 9 to go. Christmas card. Thanksgiving. Pumpkin on Halloween. There's a million ideas. These are 3 touches. So now I got 6. Fill out the rest. So go through all your lead sources, put your transaction goal through that lead source, and then come up with a prospecting plan, a follow-up plan, and a nurturing plan. Simple. These are all the different sources. Brand building. So what are you doing to build your brand? So for example, you got social media. I like to do 1 story a day on Insta/Facebook, 1 or 3 posts per week, short form, and 1 a week, long form. Now, what do I mean by a short form, long form? Well, a short form can be just like, a short reel or a quick picture or something. one post per week. Long form is something where if you look in the caption, it's long. There's some kind of story involved to it. Okay. So you don't have to post that much, but I would suggest at least posting a story a day to stay in people's faces. Add everyone to socials. Very, very easy to build a brand with social media these days. You got to be doing it. But you got to have your clients on there. If you're attracting clients, it needs to be specific to clients. Plus, you got to add some personal stuff in there too. If you're looking to attract agents, it's got to be specific for agents, plus your personal stuff. Okay. So think about how you're going to build your brand. I mean, it can get much deeper than that. If you have a team, okay, I need an office, that's going to help build my brand. What will help build your brand? Sit down and really, really think about it and write it down. Lead generation. So this part here has the personal expenses and building expenses. I won't really go over that. I'm going to go over one more thing before I get off. If you want to really know your numbers, and there's a second part I'm gonna go to, then I'm gonna add. I'm gonna send this to you also. You're gonna put your goals down for every month of how many deals you want to do, so that you know that you're staying on track. So that one I just showed you doesn't have that. This is something extra that I'm gonna add. You're gonna put all your different numbers in here. And then this one's really, really interesting. And I'm going to write to you. So can you guys see my screen here? You put it in AI and all these numbers will come out for you. So let's say you write to AI, let's say you need to do 25 buyer transactions and 25 seller transactions in a year for a real estate agent. Let's say 60% of listing appointments result in a signed listing agreement. 80% of signed listings close. 90% of buyer appointments result in a buyer agreement. 90% of buyer agreements close. You need 8 conversations to get 1 buyer or seller appointment. How many conversations would you have to have a year to hit your year-end goal? And how many would you need to talk to a week to hit your year-end goal, considering you take 1.5 months off a year and you plan on prospecting 5 days a week? When I put enter, look what comes up. Okay, so this person knows now they need 32 signed listings. If 60% of listing appointments lead to a listing, you need to go on 54 listing appointments to get the amount of deals you want done. 32 listings signed, 54 listing appointments. That'll get you 25 listing deals. Buyer side, buyer agreements needed, 28. Buyer appointments needed, 32. Total appointments to conversations. You need to have 688 conversations with buyers and sellers in order to hit your closing goal, based on the fact that if you talk to 8 people, you will get 1 appointment. Now, that's why you need to know your numbers. Conversations needed per week if you take 1.5 months off a year. So that's 45.5 working weeks times 688 conversations. So really, you only need 16 conversations per week if you do it every single week, which is really 4 conversations a day. So if every day for 5 days a week minus 1.5 months off, you were to talk to 5 people, new people, okay, you will hit your goal. If the numbers, if you know your numbers and you know you need to do 8 appointments, or sorry, 1 appointment per 8 conversations. In theory, and most likely in real time, if you were to do that, you will hit your goal. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, 5 conversations a day. Try having 5 conversations a day every single day for the rest of the year. And then come tell me how your results are. You're going to be super, super busy to the point where you're going to need to hire help. Okay. And the reason it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's the consistency that exponentially drives the amount of appointments up. Like if you're doing it every single day, because some people they do it a week, then they take a month off, then they do it for a week. But imagine you did it every day, just 5 conversations. So I'm going to write that in the box in case you guys want to. And through that, you guys can figure out all these numbers here. So I'm going to write that in here. So you guys can copy and paste it if you need to. I'm going to stop the share. Does anybody have any questions? No? So if you want a copy of this, I know some people left, they wrote their emails in there. Just shoot me your email. And I will send it to you. Sound good, guys?
Steve, can you
Yeah,
send me that last bit? Because I do have the planning package, but
yeah,
the monthly one. I'll text you my email.
yeah, I got you.
Thanks, man. Awesome.
Okay, guys,
Guys,
have a great day. I'll fire over those the business plan for you guys through your email, okay? If you need any help with anything, just let me know, guys. Have a great day.